All right, let's go. Cheers.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers. Hey, we got it on sync this time, but this one.
Hey, I don't like sugar.
Welcome back to the HT podcast. This is Bing Bin and today we have Jung Yin here, also called. I'll skip your name for now. That's okay.
Should we redo?
No. What's
I'm
your
just
name?
kidding.
We got your name already.
Ying.
Jung
Jung
Yin.
Yin.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yes. So before we start, I just want to say a few feedback I got from my wife. One, I say what in response to everything, so I'm not going to use that anymore. I'm just going to say like whoo or something like that.
Okay.
The second thing she said was I wasn't in the camera enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay on the table.
How about you sit right here?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm the center of attention now.
Yes.
That's what my wife wants.
The world
Oh, okay.
revolves around you.
Yes, exactly.
We'll make sure we switch place next time.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. My wife will be very
Yes.
happy about that.
Yeah. Or you could be behind the camera.
I mean-
like I don't really
Oh
care.
no, my face is made for the camera,
Yeah.
so don't you worry.
Well, so you've been in. So first of all, you've been in Cancun. So we apologize. We haven't been uploading like previously this past week.
Yep.
But now we have our main guest back. Or sorry, not me, my co-host back. This is the guest over here.
You
Sorry.
mean the main host?
The main host. Main host right here. Sorry.
And we also apologize about
yes.
the voice, the quality last time,
Yes.
because we bought a new mic,
Yeah.
and the new mic didn't work out.
So we didn't
go
test
back
out
to-
properly.
Yeah, so we went back to the old mic. So again, that's the show. I hope you had a good one.
Yeah.
Whatever
All
your
right,
name
bye.
is.
It's been great.
So let's go back here. So Jung Yin, she was our Hun for a term. Do you remember when that was?
I have to refresh. I
We should
remember
talk about
right we have to talk about this
Spent
before
an
this
hour talking
podcast.
about it.
Yeah. No, I started as a Falling Hung in 2019.
But you became Hun before that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually was in Tuni before that, even when I moved here from Vietnam in 2008, and then I think I
So
was
how old were you? I don't want to make people guess your
11?
age.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
everyone's like older than
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, so
How you came over?
yeah, so I joined Tini. I think I was in Tini, or no, I was in Niesi first.
Mhm.
Actually, and Phu was my Hunjung,
Mhm.
one of our former Hunjung,
Yeah.
and then I quit Tini for a while.
Yeah.
Because
Hated
like
it.
it just no, I just like moved houses and like had to go to work on Sunday kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
I didn't come back until I was like around 18, senior high
Gotcha.
school, and then joined
So
as a
it wasn't
Hipsejin Kan.
because of like the language barrier, like BT kind of mentioned a little bit. She said it wasn't a problem for her.
Oh.
but-
It was for me because I didn't know any English coming here.
Yeah.
And like even at the time as a Niesi, I like know some English but like wasn't very confident.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like BT was kind of mentioned, it was very, I want to say the word clicky, but like it's, you know, I have, you know, a couple of my friends that was hanging out at the time, and we're all kind of like come over at the same time, so
Yeah.
we're just hanging out together already.
Were they into you too? Or no?
Yeah, they were in
Oh,
Tingy for a
good,
couple of
good,
years
good,
too.
yeah.
So that's why we're kind of stuck together for
Mhm.
a little bit. But still, it's harder for us to kind of like mingle
sense.
and like,
The culture is completely
yeah,
different.
it's so different.
so different.
How was it after you said you took a break after New City,
Mhm.
but how was it coming back after that?
Um,
I mean, it may have been only a few years, right? But
yeah, it was not bad. I was actually would just hang out at church. I went to church, and then my cousin Bill was like doing, I think it was Easter egg hunt, and then he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, free labor, come join."
He does that. That's how we do it. He
Yeah.
does that.
So then I was helping out with stuffing eggs for, you know, we stuffed so many eggs.
Yeah.
So and then I was like, all right, this is kind of fun. I was like, you know, becoming more free. Stop work, like the shop that I was working at, the family business, like closed on Sunday then. So then I'm like, Sunday started free up.
And you
So
were Wing Chun then already or no?
no, I joined as a Hipsejin Kan.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, and then I was actually a Hipsejin Kan for 2 years, because the first year when I was
Failed.
like,
I didn't know you can fail, but apparently you know.
you know, apparently you can fail. You know, I'm the first. Anywho, no. During camp time, I think September, I went
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
Vietnam with my
so you
brother
missed that year.
at that time, so I missed it. So I came back as a
Yeah.
Hipsejin Kan again the next year, and then went to camp.
That's cool that you kept with it though.
Yeah, it was you know, it was a good time, good people.
Wait, that would have
and
been 20. You said 2015, 16.
yeah, 2015 was the year that I missed.
Oh, okay,
And then I
okay.
came back and went to camp 2016.
It's 14 or 15 was my last year teaching Jingtan, so I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Yeah,
any
no,
classes
you
that
weren't teaching
was-
me. Bill.
Okay.
Bill was. Yeah.
After which it would have been BTs. Yeah.
Any of
Yeah.
your friends back then, were they did they stay in Tilney or no?
Yeah. After
Do
I
you-
think
do you-
like we're all kind of quit.
You think you'll get them back in here now?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
they're fully settled, happy
Yeah,
family, you know,
Yeah,
type
yeah,
of
yeah.
yeah.
Never coming
Yeah.
back.
So did you after you became Hunjung, did you teach any classes?
Yeah, I was actually a co-teacher with BT at a time.
Oh.
I was co-teaching BT in Tuni, and
Oh,
yeah.
nice one. She did.
And then since she's in like, I think she was a Dangjung, so yeah, at the time.
Yeah.
So she slowly back away
Yeah,
from
leaving you
teaching,
to do
so
everything.
leaving me.
And you're like, it's
to
my
teach-
time to shine now.
No, I was like, damn it. You know. But yeah, so I started off at Tuni, and then I went to Miesi. Yeah.
I remember you teaching Tilney before, and
Yeah,
I always
I think
felt
it
so
was-
bad for you.
I actually didn't mind it too much. They, you know, their attention span is a little short. I mean, longer than Almi, but like,
Did you prefer them over Yusei then?
no, I actually like Yesi better. You can actually have like a conversation with them.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not very similar.
You know, yeah,
Right.
yeah. I like the older kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who are you teaching now?
Now, well, this day I'm not very. I'm not
Oh, but
teaching.
you're still there.
Yeah, I'm just still there, just hang out and help out, whatever. But the last group that I taught was Hipsei actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was a Fangling Hung, we were still short on Hunjun, so I had to take up a class. It's like very soon, like I think 2021,
Yeah.
where COVID just as is end, and we're kind of slowly starting, and so I have to take up a class. I didn't particularly like how I was a Fangling Hung and then have a class, because I usually get interrupted during class and have to leave to like do a stuff.
Very
So
typical. We'll talk about that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
very
and then
typical.
after when it happened a couple of times, and I realized I was like, I probably prefer teaching if I'm ever gonna come back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would come back just to
You-
focus on the teaching
Yes,
part.
you want to be one of us peons.
Yeah.
Not leadership, right?
How was your role as a Yun Hundo? Like, do you like it? What kind of things did you have to do with that role?
Yeah, so the first year I was a Fangling Hung, it was okay, since like I didn't know what the heck I was doing, so it took a whole year to figure it out. And then the second year COVID hit, so we shut everything down. And then we tried to do some
Yeah,
online
yeah.
stuff. It was not.
It's not the same.
It's not the
Yeah,
same.
not the
It's
same.
really difficult to keep people engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
tough
and then
enough already, and now
Yeah.
you have to be online.
exactly.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and then we decided, because like 2020 basically didn't exist, so we extended another
Yeah.
year for our term, so 2021. And then at the time, I was just like, it was a new job, and I was trying to settle down, and like personal issue, family, and everything else was going on. So I think I didn't do a really good job as
Yeah.
a Fangling Hung then either.
I mean, I didn't mean to say. I mean,
Where-
I agree with
Were
your
you even
conversation.
around to be aware that, or to agree
I
with?
never do a good job, so I assume no one else does. No, I didn't mean
No,
that.
but like, yeah. So, and then after I realized I prefer teaching more, so
Yeah.
then I was like, okay.
Did you but you've always been around to help us with the various events like retreats, camps.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite moment in those things like camp?
I like my Hunjun camp.
That's fair.
Because like
Yeah.
I think Hunjun camp is once you become a Hipsi Jinkan and you help with so many events, Hunjun camp is actually the one that as an attendee, you get
For
to
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
or
you.
you just get to play and like study and like hang out.
Did you like your kamof more or kapai?
I like my Kapmo more. Yeah,
Do you remember where it was?
Mayfield.
If you-
I think so. It's,
Oh,
very
oh,
generic.
oh. It's been there for a few years.
When was the
Yeah.
last camp you went to? Like Hunjun camp.
Oh, Hunjun camp. No, it was 20. I don't remember. It was Hunjun Kapai.
Yeah. Was it recent or was it like
No,
years ago?
it was like
Pre-COVID for sure.
3. No,
Oh, okay.
yeah, pre-COVID
Oh,
for sure. Probably 18 or 17.
Oh, it's long
No,
ago.
17. Yeah, it has to be 2017.
Because I was going to ask you, like, I've only been to Gupmo, and I've been
Yeah.
pushing that off forever.
Yeah.
And there's always reasons not to go.
Mhm.
And this one definitely not. There's no reason for me to go. And I'm like, if I go, it's like I'm there. I feel like I don't really belong because I would go to Cup High and it would be a different age group,
Well,
right?
I would say yes and no for that. There's still a ton of people who are much older too, who's just starting to go or Cup High.
Okay.
And so, I mean, I don't think your age will have to do anything with at camp. You feel like one of the young ones. You feel like the rest of them.
Oh, really?
I mean,
you behave like the rest of them.
Me?
No, because I think it depends on the camp. Like each high camp is very catered to the age group. Like
That makes sense.
ông nhì, two nhì, nghe si, hip si.
Yeah.
So then, like whichever age group you interested in, you can try go. Then that whole camp will like focus on that age group
That
and
makes
teach
sense.
you.
I didn't think about that because I was like, oh, you're just teaching a ngang, who cares? But if you're teaching hiệp sĩ trưởng thành, then likely you'll have those type of personalities who will go and then you can relate with them a little bit more.
I mean, in general, going to Cup High teaches you, get you ready to become like, for example, a ngan jung, because they teach you more ngan specific things, or how to come up with a chương trình thanh tiếng for your ngan, right? So Cup Một is learn how to be a jung, Cup High become a ngan jung, Cup Ba learn how to do more administration stuff, or lãnh đạo.
Cup Một, how to be huynh trưởng. I probably need to go to that
I
one.
think a lot of us do need to go back.
But would you go back again? Because you haven't been one to any camp, like do another Cup High, because you haven't been one in a while.
I don't know.
No, yeah.
I mean, like I think Cup High was also pretty fun because of like we got a lot of our Hinjung to go at the same time.
Oh,
yeah. So like all of us made it really
Except for
fun.
me, of course.
Yeah, you're not cool enough.
we got everyone
I'm sorry, I didn't invite you.
Oh, you're like it was fun because we got everyone to go, but not you, and that's what
Except you, and that makes it even better.
Did all of you who went to Cup High get promoted?
God, I don't
Most
remember.
of you guys did.
I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure all of us did.
Yeah.
Got promoted. Yeah.
So you mentioned you were going through school and stuff like that at the time, or started changing work. What did you go to school for?
I went to school for nursing.
Really?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was not bad. I mean, at the time, I think like I'm grown up, basically kind of. I guess grown up poor is the word, but like, so like my parents were just like, like it doesn't matter what you do as long as, we teach us to be like financially independent. So then
that makes sense.
The way I pick my career is very like job security focused, basically. At the time, I was just like, nursing 4 years, I can do it. And I didn't have anybody around to like show me and be like, oh, you have to apply to university, you have to go to blah blah blah. So when the time came, I was just like, oh crap, I need to go to school. And so I just like went to a community college, and then after did my prereqs, and then applied to transfer. It took a whole total of 5 years because of the transferring process.
Oh,
So the prereqs took 2 years, and then the nursing program for a bachelor at Seattle U for 2 years.
Did you have to learn all that on your own then? Because you said you didn't have anyone to talk to at the time?
Yeah.
You have to Google it yourself? Or?
Yeah, basically, and then like trying to use your resources. Like I tried, like it's hard, but you go to like school counselor to like be like, oh, what do I do? And they're just like, well, you can take classes, like do your own research on what school requires, like what the program from the university require. And then you just take those classes to make sure you're qualified to apply.
So it's weird. It's interesting because back then, I bet there was no huynh trưởng that could help you. Was there anybody?
There is, in our dorm at least. She might not have been close to them at the time. So
that's interesting.
But we definitely have a few.
We have more now, I bet, in the medical field now. Who's huynh trưởng. But I'll be honest, only like one person so far has asked me about pharmacists, or one or two. So I don't know if anyone has asked you
as a kid, or
as a kid asking me about it, and they're like, "Hey, I'm interested in maybe pharmacy is not the hot thing anymore."
No.
Yeah, probably right. But I didn't know if any kid had to be like, "Hey, Jun Zuyan, can you tell me more about nursing? Should I get into nursing?"
Actually, no. Like I haven't had any.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Well, high school. I mean, not a lot of high school kids think about that at the time. Right now, they're not thinking about, oh, what do I want to do when I want to go?
Right, like that's how I was when I was in like high school. I was like, university, what's that? I have to apply a whole year before I get there.
So I want a public announcement here. It's just like use your resources. I tell my
Yeah.
HIPC kids all the time. I was like, you have a connection to someone already, and people who are older than you love to give advice. That's just how it is. The older a person is,
This guy.
the more you advice you will give, and that's why I'm doing this podcast, right? So 3 people will listen to my advice, right?
Yeah.
So go up. You have a
Yeah.
connection with them already. Find a Huingzheng, like especially being you, it's like if you don't know the answer, you probably will know another Huingzheng or someone else that knows the answer.
Yeah.
And network is net worth, right? So
Yeah.
get at
For
it.
sure.
You know, use your net.
Network worth net worth.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's in the song. It's like a different.
Nothing about Gian is original.
I think a lot of kids might be a little shy as well, but
Yeah.
if we create opportunities for them to do that, for them to ask questions, that might be okay.
And I
You know,
think
might help.
sometimes, some of them just don't think of us as a resource. Like,
Yeah.
we're like, oh yeah, go use your resource, but they don't know
Oh yeah.
the resource that they have sometimes. So
Yeah, a while back, I think last year, we started on our Dong's Instagram page. We started this thing where we have we showcase a Hunjung,
Oh, yeah.
and I try to ask them questions like, oh, what do you do for a living, stuff like that, to get for other kids and parents to get to know.
You never
us.
asked me.
I was getting to you, man. I haven't gotten there yet. I was getting to know you as a person outside of Tuni, right?
Yeah,
It's helping.
Sorry.
That would help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
we
you
didn't-
weren't cool enough to
Yeah.
be
Oh, yeah,
asked.
still am not.
We should really continue that because that kind of stopped after a while. But that was the intent of that, just to
Yeah.
get kids and parents more aware of what we do outside of Tuni.
And I know one HIPC thing too that you did.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you asked a bunch of professionals to come in
Oh,
to
yeah.
talk about how as Huingzheng,
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
profession. We had Sir to do it too and everything. So that was very cool, like a career day. You know,
Yeah.
doing this.
It's
So
a great panel, so nice.
Yeah.
maybe do that again.
We should. Yeah.
So, nursing wise, though, is it like all the medical dramas that we watch, like Grey's Anatomy or The Resident, New Amsterdam kind of scrubs?
You know, no.
You
No.
say yes.
No.
Tell me
Definitely
why.
not.
Yes.
I mean, like,
That's right.
Spill the
I
tea.
went into emergency medicine, and that's the
Oh.
thing about this job, this career that I picked originally was for the job security, and I feel very lucky and blessed
Yeah.
enough that I somehow along the way of the job I fell in love with emergency medicine
Yeah.
and critical care, and
Job security.
So-
People will always get hurt.
yeah.
Yeah, like me.
You know, but like I was so lucky that I feel like I fell in love with the job and like the critical care, the emergency part of it, and
Yeah.
I'm keep doing it.
Can you go straight into emergency care, or you have to work yourself up to it?
Yes,
question.
I
Thank you.
emergency. It really depends on like when I first graduated. I know for sure that I can't work at the big fancy hospital or like
Yeah.
a higher level.
Of course, yeah.
So like I was in Seattle, so I moved back to Tacoma, and then because of COVID and then stuff. So I applying for job while studying for my board and NCLEX. And I was just looking around and see wherever they take residency program.
Mhm.
It's called for nursing.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, they do it for every unit, like every department, basically. So
they
then,
hire you after too.
yeah. So then, if you go through their residency, they will train you to do the job. So that's why I started off at St. Clair in Lakewood,
Yeah.
and then about 2 year-ish, I applied. I was like, it's time for me to move on.
Yeah.
And I wanted to learn more, so I applied for her review and I got it there. So I started there.
Actually, this is a question for both of you because both of you guys had to take a board exam, right?
Mhm.
How was preparing for that? Do you feel like school helped you prepare for that, or is it everything else that you studied on your own after school for that?
You go. Tell us
Okay,
about it.
because
Ian.
my opinion, we don't have to do that. So.
Yeah.
School probably should have, but I was never a good student. You know, I get by through life based on my looks and charisma. No, I'm just joking. Just joking.
It must be a rough life for you.
It's been a tough time. No, I think the saying is D's get degrees is kind of true with me. So I wasn't always the best student. So I don't think it really prepared me that much.
Yeah.
I think the panicking, hey, I need to get past this so I don't have a job. I think that probably pushed me the most more than anything.
So you didn't waste a couple $100,000.
Yeah. I'm not a good litmus test on what is a good
Sure.
student, though.
I see.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. You might have been.
I mean, I'm also not a very good student. I'm just like, above average, like
Yeah.
average-ish,
Yeah.
and like procrastinators,
course.
and that's why I'm in emergency medicine. You
Yeah,
gotta
you
do it right now, or you
Yeah.
can't do it at all,
Yeah.
type of thing, right?
It forces you. You can't
Exactly. I
procrastinate.
can't procrastinate.
Yeah.
But I think school is the opposite. School taught me information to use for my test, the board exam,
Yeah.
but not for work.
Yeah.
For work, I really have to learn it on the job, and there's
Yeah.
so much to
Mhm.
learn, especially in my department. It's like so much to learn every day, and that's what I like about it too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're in emergency medicine right now, but
Mhm.
do you have plans to go on anything else to study some or learn something else, or go to a different track field, maybe in whatever pediatrics or something?
You just started though, right? Like, how long have you been in emergency medicine?
4 years.
Oh, never mind.
And you're going.
You got some
Yeah.
experience.
She's like, I'm
Yeah.
bored now.
I started in 2020.
Yeah.
So about 4 years. I don't know yet. I mean, I'm planning on a couple of things.
Yeah.
But
That's a good
mostly,
diplomatic answer
Yeah.
you're giving. Right?
yeah,
Yes.
planning on doing some critical care, but
Yes.
nothing concrete
Mhm.
yet.
I'm completely
Yeah.
opposite.
Yeah.
I got to a point where my job, when I go to my work job, I'll give it 110%. I get the stuff done. I ignore politics, workplace politics.
Yeah.
I almost have no emotions at work
Yeah.
unless I need to show emotions.
Sure.
I get the work done. I go home
Yeah.
and I focus on my family
Yeah.
and real estate. That's pretty
Mhm.
much it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I
Purpose.
stopped moving up anymore
Yeah.
because the next level for me
Mhm.
is probably management,
Mm.
and I don't want to bring my work home with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You know.
Yeah.
That's
So-
that's really something that everyone has to figure out in their career once they get to that level.
Yeah.
Either you stay go into management or stay on a technical route or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or change your job completely.
Yeah.
Or change your job completely.
Totally fine.
Or do start like be a barista.
Right?
Shame there.
Open up my own
Yeah.
Starbucks chain.
Exactly. You drink enough of it. So.
Yeah. Because I wouldn't make any money. I'll be drinking my own coffee and
What
all.
time is it right now? I mean, it's like almost
Hey,
7.
mind your own business, okay?
How do you sleep? How are you gonna sleep at night?
Do you
Caffeine.
Yeah.
You didn't sleep.
No.
So, any tips do you have to get into this kind of field?
I mean, like, it's really based on interest. I mean, like, if
Yeah.
you really like, I think volunteering before you get into the nursing program, like, it really gets you to know different area, and you don't get to know a lot in the whole detail of what they are doing as nurses, but like, you at least have to see the unit and see how it is. And I volunteered in a couple of units. I was like, that's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then during school, they also put you through clinicals where you go to different department every quarter
Yeah.
to like see how you feel. Yeah.
I do have to recommend again for anyone in Tilnyi, HIPC and stuff, go up to Yu Hing Chung and ask them, where can I volunteer? Right?
Definitely.
They will go
Yeah.
out of their way, or most should.
Yeah.
I won't go out of their way to like find someone that you can come into and at least look around.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
need to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I had so back in high school, one of my close friends, she ends up volunteering at St. Clair.
Mm.
Yeah.
She volunteered there at the hospital where Jung used to be at.
Yeah.
And it was just a good experience for her. But she didn't end up going into medical or anything related to medical. But
Yeah.
it was just still a good experience. So
Yeah. And it shows initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's just say you stay in that job, you
Yeah.
become a nurse. That person that trained you, the painter that trained you, or whatever
Yeah.
that you were around, they'll remember you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they'll be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we have an opening.
Yeah.
I just know you just graduated."
Yeah.
And at this point, like to get jobs, it's kind of who you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if you just if you
Yeah.
try to put yourself there on Indeed or something, they have so many bam bam in,
Mhm.
and sometimes it's like your credential is one thing, but it's like if you get in at the right time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's funny about that, like for my company, we're allowed to refer people in.
Oh,
And
nice.
so lots of Hunjungs have come up to me and say, hey, especially those who just graduated high school or college,
Yeah.
ask me with computer science and degrees that they want to go into my company, trying to get a computer science, programming job. and they're like, hey, can you refer me to this role? I was like,
And you're like, who are you?
I'm like, no. I'm like, I always go, yeah, sure. Just send me your resume, so at least I know quick look at it.
Yeah.
And then I'll give them a tip on that, and then say just go ahead and apply, put my name down, and every single time, I do get those endorsement requests from my company when those things come in. Whether or not my endorsement carries any weight,
It's better than not having it.
Yes.
Because they do honestly move up the track a little bit.
The hardest part is just getting past the resume screening. Once you get past that, then you have a better chance.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it really depends on the field too. Like for you, probably it's hard to like for people who get the foot into the door type of thing. But like I think if you're going any medical, like it's super easy for you to like put your foot into the door because like you can do so many different parts. Like if you don't have any degree yet, you can do volunteering, so that's your way in, and then they will know you. Management wise would definitely know who you are, and then or if you have some type of certification, you can be like a tech, that you can help out like an aide, whatnot, and that is your way. Because at Harborview, I actually know a lot of people who's working there as a tech and going to school for nursing, then they're become great nurses.
Like pharmacy technicians, right?
Yeah.
You don't need a degree for that.
You get a
some
certificate. Certificate and certificate. Yeah.
It's not too bad.
And we always need technicians, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it can
Pharmacy
be,
is take forever.
Yeah. So again, as a pharmacist, I get the brunt, some brunt, but honestly, pharmacy technician get the most brunt. I'm just a handsome face standing there. But, no, I'm just kidding.
A little useless, but it's a face.
That sells it.
Sorry.
I'm
gonna get fired. It's like he's ugly. We gotta fire him.
So do you think working your day-to-day job, do you think you'll be able to retire comfortably with that? Or how might you go about that?
It's like, how dare you ask me that?
It's a big loaded question. But,
she's like, I'm looking till I die.
Like most of us.
It really depends on the person's living style.
Well, that's why I'm asking you.
For my living style, I preferably not. I don't think I would be able to do it comfortably. I mean, I think, for this podcast, we're talking about retirement savings and whatnot, right? Like investments and whatnot. I think when I first started my nursing job, like they'd have 401k, which is like,
Wait, sorry. You said they did or did not?
Did.
Okay, they did.
Yeah. And they did match it to, I think, 3%.
But real quick, for those who don't know, 401k is basically just a curated list of stocks that your company chooses for you, or give you the option of choosing, and then you can put money into it, and sometimes they'll contribute to that as well. They'll match whatever contribution up to a certain amount, and then you let it grow over time, and you can't take it out until you're 59 and a half. And then at that point, it's taxed. It's a tax advantage account, so it's pre-tax, so you contribute money into that first from your paycheck before they take taxes off. But when you do get to retirement age, and then when you do take the money out, you will get taxed on that.
There are some complications of like you can take out early, but you'll be heavily fined. And that's also there's different types of 401ks where you can get taxed after, things like that. But generally, I think the general recommendation for most people is if you have a 401k and they match it, and you don't have $50,000 in credit card loans that you have to worry about, then you should take the match. And the match tends to be like, how much you put in, they'll match up to a specific percentage of that. So always ask about how much they match, and at least try to work yourself up to that matching.
For example, for my company, they'll match like 5 or 6% up to $5,000 a year. So I make sure I get that match. I do the minimum to get up to that, and whatever else left over the year, I just continue whatever. And then I use the rest of that money for other types of investments. But for sure, get that match. It's free money.
Gotcha. You say yours did have a match?
They did. I think up to 3%. Like that's the thing about getting a job. You need to do your research and ask them about benefits and whatnot, and read the contracts and say what they would offer you. And I think at the time I didn't really do any of that. We're just like, oh my god,
I have a job now.
I have paychecks.
I can pick all the Starbucks I want at any time I want.
I have adult money. It's not a lot, but there is. you know. But yeah, so like, you know, and it just disappear out of your paycheck. So then like we go to this universe somewhere, you know, and you know, if you don't create the account and like look at it, you like sometimes just forget about it.
Exactly.
You know, and then so
it's even scarier when you switch jobs sometimes, and then you have an old 401k floating around somewhere. And you're like, oh wait,
exactly,
that's my money.
Yeah, you know. So then, like at the time, I didn't like understand the whole thing of like, oh, matching, what is that, you know? And then are they going to match and whatnot? But yeah, and I think like a big part about that, like to get to know about it, because I surrounded myself with people who, you know, like Vian, like I actually took a lot of his advice and he helped me a lot with financial and like helped me. Is it great? No. Is it great? No, but like, you know, I appreciate the help I can get. I guess that's how you put it, you know.
So you think you'll be working? I see a lot of nurses who really truly enjoy their job. They work for a long time. Sorry, my voice broke because when I say the word work, I cry. When I say the word work, I'm like, tomorrow's Monday, I'm gonna cry now. But they work for like a long time until they're like, because I feel like especially emergency medicine. Tell me if I'm incorrect here. It's such a high level of pace that to go do something else, it's like it throws you off. Right? To retire after you've been on that high level of pace, it's like, I'm saying you'll jump back right in right away.
So like I know a lot of the nurses that I used to work with, like after a certain point, they're basically done with the nursing career. They will pick a job for retirement. You know, like at a, you know, at a different unit, but like, you know, much slower pace.
But still nursing.
Still nursing, you know, like much slower pace, you know, because it's like after many years of experience, they have like a certain like pay grade already that is much more than when I first joined. So then like, you know, it doesn't matter where they work. So it's like nice, easy pace. And then that's how they go into retirement, basically.
That makes sense. So they use their 401k, they withdraw it at a specific age, and then they continue to also work too. So they have that. So that might be something for you, because you want to travel all the time, live lavishly, drink all the coffee you can. So the only way to do that
or could afford.
So we actually have an older Hunjun, a former inactive, let's say inactive, former, just still Hunjun. Who's a nurse who now works as per diem. She works whenever she wants to now. Just slightly different job, but it's still a nurse, so within the hospital. But it's nice. She travels a lot and works whenever she wants. I mean, it helps that her husband probably makes a lot of decent amount too. But you know, I see. Working my mind out how to get married. So what am I saying? So what I'm saying is very rich.
The whole point of this podcast.
This is a horrible.
No, but like beside that,
But I know that a lot of nonprofits and universities and government, maybe hospitals too, a lot of them offer a 403B plan instead of 401k. There's not much difference. They're both retirement accounts, tax advantage accounts. Just minor differences with what you can do with it later on, or
for sure.
If you see something like that as your benefit, make sure you check it out. I think a lot of people who start working, like all of us, when we start working, we don't know what it is. It wasn't until like much years later that I actually looked into my 401k and see how do I actually mess with it, how do I change investments in there and change contributions amount, you know. So it's really about just going in there and looking at it versus leaving it and never touching it.
You don't know what to do with it. I think you can always talk to someone. They would love. I think those companies, because those 401k companies is not really part of your company. It's like a separate company, right? But they would love to talk to you and like give advice to you about which to invest in. And most of the time, you just invest in like the overall market, right? And then just make sure you keep a track of all your 401ks every time you switch. Combine them when you can, and then never retire, apparently.
And then let me refresh you for being the mind of a much younger person in this room.
Again, I'm so old I don't remember your name. So.
She's still in her 20s. That's not so much.
I think for me, like when I first started working, is that retirement idea is nowhere in mind. So then we don't think about it. So then we don't spend time to, don't invest our time or money or effort into, working it. But I think like for now, I'm just like, well, those are just years of me losing money that I could have made for retirement.
Yeah.
It's also another part of security, right? Like for later on when you can no longer work or like don't want to work or whatnot. It just, if you don't think about your future, then what are you doing?
So exactly. If you're not thinking about your future, it's honestly you're flicking off your future self. And once you're your future self, it's going to be very angry at your past self.
Hate yourself.
Right?
Yeah.
So really think about it when you first start a job, because you're right. When you first start a job, you're like, I'm so glad I have a job.
I
I'm so
know, I
glad
have
they
money
hire
to
me.
spend,
I'm so
like,
glad they hire me in the
yeah,
first place.
exactly.
Right? But
So we don't think about long term.
Yeah, think about
the idea of long term is very young mind of mine, and like it's just not it. We're just like, what, retire? Who?
Yeah.
The thing about that 401 though is that it grows exponentially over time. For the first like 10, 15 years of your contributions, it'll just go like this. Little bit, but then towards the end of your life, towards your retirement age, it's gonna go like this. That's compounding because of compounding interest.
I really hope I get to spend some money before the end of my life.
And that's always the scary part. It's like, what if something happens to me before I get to use 401k?
I mean, that's why they have a limit on those contributions too. You can't put all your entire paycheck into it. Nowadays, currently, it's like $23,000 a year or something like that.
That's for sure. If they match, do it.
Take the match at least.
Take the match at least.
And I want to mention about what you said about state hospital and university like that. When I started at Harborview, one of our like basically retention type of like benefit that the whole hospital was talking about was the pension. We're one of the very few hospital in the state that is still doing pension.
Not a lot of companies offer pensions.
Yeah,
the company you're working with, the hospital you're working right now.
Yeah, we have pension because it's a state hospital.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. Harborview is a state hospital.
How many years?
So it depends on the plan. So I'm talking about like what I know. Like if you're ever going into it, I would recommend reading the website and have a very accurate.
So 401k is like money you put in, and then you can invest in stock and one retirement account. Pension is actually the company giving you just money. Right? It's money at the end, depending on how long you work for them. They can give you money, just random,
So from what my understanding is,
look at my lips right now.
from what my understanding is, there are two type of pension. There is PERS 2 and PERS 3. The first PERS 2 is 5 years. So then when you vested for 5 full-time, like the hours, like full-time job for 5 years, they will give you like they have their own calculation formula for like what you can get monthly. After you retire, they would pay you monthly for the rest of your life.
Nice.
Yeah.
You say you're 4 years?
No.
Okay.
I'm only about 2 years at this hospital.
Okay.
I picked the PERS 3, which a different calculation, which is a 10 years.
Oh.
But the difference between the two is for 5 years, the company will contribute to your pension, but you also contribute into your pension a certain amount.
Yeah.
For PERS 3, the company will pay for my full pension, and whatever I contribute will be in a separate saving investment account.
But you have to stay 10 years.
But I have to stay 10 years. I mean, like, it's Harborview is the biggest hospital there is around this area. If I'm not planning on moving anywhere or retire in the next 10 years, I think I would just stay there for the rest of my
you can't
life.
leave because you will burn like so many bridges.
But like the thing is, but like not really lose the pension, but like whatever year that I worked there, though, it will just stay there. If I ever like leave and then come back, it will just continue.
That's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Or I'm pretty sure that if I started at Harborview and any other facility within the UW system, it will still continue.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah. So
you don't hear pension anymore.
Yeah.
Like I said, I lick my
especially
lips
for
when
healthcare workers, like you know,
I mean,
do they need pharmacists?
you know,
you can find it.
probably not you, but you know.
Okay, show them a picture. I'll send you. I just send you my mugshot. That's prison. You see my profile
Yeah.
shot or something.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy. That's so
yeah.
good to know.
yeah,
And imagine if
one of the best benefits they offer.
imagine if a hipster or something come up to you and found that out.
Yeah.
They would be
Do
like
they even-
jumping on that.
I would love it if they have the, can fathom the idea of retirement at their age, about investing. Investing into their future.
Yeah. That's such a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, especially as you get older and start to have a family, you start to think more about those things. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the closer the older you are, the closer you are to death.
Yeah.
Right?
To retirement.
So, I mean, for me, that's why I like to have my money now. That's why I don't contribute as much to my 401.
Yeah.
I do the matching, 100% matching.
Yeah.
But then I don't like go too much in more. I like to either invest it elsewhere or have that money for me to do things with now.
Yeah.
It's not the best idea, but that's just kind of my lifestyle.
But I think you also use that money instead of putting entirely into retirement, like government or your job offer company retirement. You do your own personal investment.
Because I can die, 5 years from now, right? But it's in my investment, I can still do whatever I want with it. I can still withdraw it, sell it, and do buy whatever I need to, or invest more.
Yeah.
Which is what I do anyways.
Different routes. The safe. There's the safe conservative route, and there's a riskier one. But if you are capable of managing your own finance and spend time and whatnot, then there's no wrong way to do it.
I mean, especially if you're young, I would encourage them to be a little more risky when you're young. I mean, obviously, take it at whatever.
Yeah.
But
it's not financial.
it's not financial advice, definitely.
Yeah.
But if you're a little more riskier,
It's kind of like the high yield savings account.
Yeah.
If you don't know what to do, that is the first thing you have to do.
minimal.
And then if you don't know what to do at work,
Yeah.
the 401k.
It is, exactly.
I
So
think as you grow, you mentioned, you slowly start thinking about this stuff. And the same with me. I slowly transitioned to real estate, right? Even though I do max out my 401k, but some days I do really think about, hey, let's cut it down.
Yeah.
And I talked to my tax person, and she's pretty casual about it too. She's like, either way, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like either way, you contribute less and buy, as long as you buy real estate, you're fine. So both of them has tax benefits to it. So, but
my fiance contributes a great amount to her 401.
Oh yeah, good for you. So you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. Tax spend money now. She can
so
save
she's
later.
your safety net.
She's my safety net.
Don't marry for that reason either.
We just thought the whole show today, Orlin is marry
Rich.
or
And
marry
find a safety net.
or marry someone with a really good matching 401k.
That's where the true wealth comes from.
Yes.
So that's your marriage advice.
Well, it's too late for me. But my wife actually has really good benefits. I'm a contractor, so I don't get that much.
Oh, I didn't know you were a contractor. I thought you were actually working for that.
I could get fired at any time. Not because of my incompetence, but because I'm a contractor.
Might be because of the face.
It's a combination of many intricacies in my life. So I think that was a great podcast. So, I think we met the mark this time. Hopefully that wasn't 5 hours.
Any last words for our listeners?
I just hope that you surrounding yourself with good influence, for your
influences.
influences.
What influences?
I say influence, but I guess influences. But English is hard.
Yeah. Not even.
But yes, help you grow as a person and help you with many factors of your life and have you improve and self growth. And I think is either financially or in any other aspect.
Professionally, spiritually.
Yeah.
Exactly. All of that.
Facially.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to bring it back to myself again. Yeah, let's cheers.
All right, cheers.
I really tried to let you end it and I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
Always want a last word.
How dare you? I'm the pharmacist here. You're the nurse. We hate each other.
We do.